What's up, YouTube? I wanted to shoot a video to do a review of my 2025 Cadillac Escalade IQ. It's all electric. This is the Sport 1 model with the Onyx package. That's what kind of gives it the big black rims, and I do have window tint on this. But I kind of wanted to get, this has been my daily driver for the last 4 months or so. I've got about 6,000 miles on it, and just kind of wanted to give my honest thoughts. I'm not paid by anybody, not sponsored. I'm just a person who owns this thing. It's very expensive. I think mine was about $140. I leased it. They gave me like $10,000 off. But yeah, it's quite the expensive vehicle, most expensive vehicle I've ever owned. I came from a Rivian before this. I absolutely loved my Rivian. But anyway, I'm just going to start pointing out some things on here. Just to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and say I give this about 5 out of 10. I'm actually not a big fan of this truck. It just doesn't seem to do everything the way it's supposed to. It gives me lots of trouble. But let's just start kind of going over some things here. It's got 24-inch rims with some big tires. They end up being about 35-inch tires, but they're not, measured that way. I think they are measured to be the 275, 50, 24. But yeah, they're 35s. Big disappointment on this thing. Does not have floating calipers. Like, that's just ridiculous for a vehicle of this level to have 2-piston fixed calipers. That's junk. Well, actually, in case anybody didn't know what that was, those are floating calipers. That's on my wife's Land Rover. That's the type of brakes that this thing should have. It doesn't. They're just awful. Not that they don't work well. It's just, it should have bigger. I just should have better equipment on it. What else can we look at here? Let's pop the frunk. The frunk on this thing is absolutely huge, which is cool. Most people probably can't reach into it. It's a little bit slow. It hesitates for a second. It came with a sliding tray. I took the sliding tray out because I'm 6'4". I can reach in here really easy, and the tray actually took up a lot of space in there. But as you can see, that goes really, really high. So you have to be worried about that hitting things. Let's keep on going around here. It is a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. Probably one of the best looking SUVs, in my opinion. The giant front end just kind of gives it a great look. Kind of looks like a Rolls Royce, or like just screams luxury, which is cool, but that's all that it does. It just screams luxury. No moving side steps, just kind of the one running board there. As you get inside, it's nice. It's really, it's roomy. It's big. It is comfy. Inside here, as you get in, I don't like that nothing comes on until you hit the brake pedal. They just didn't quite, in my opinion, they didn't quite get that right. Like, I like to, when I have it in my garage, leave the key inside. Another gripe of mine, I do not like that you have to have a key. Nowadays, if you're going to try and be like Rivian and Tesla and Lucid, just actually do it. The idea of carrying a key around after you get used to not is really, really silly. And it's cumbersome, and it's a pain in the butt. Let's see here. Going through, just kind of open the rest of it up. I do not have the executive package. I just have the regular captain's chairs in here. Baby seat, don't mind that. I have the back seats folded down right now. Tons of room with the back seats folded down, which is wonderful. All of these came with a headrest issue. All the headrests, they fold down and they would not stay back in the up position. Cadillac took forever to get those fixed, but every one of them is having that problem, so be aware of that. They put a giant sunroof in here. It's great. I love the giant sunroof, the look of it. But the only option that they gave you for covering it up was a manual cover that you have to stick up there, and it's just ridiculous. So nobody actually uses that. It's crazy that that's what they offered. I put, I think it was 40% ceramic tint on there to kind of block out the heat, because the AC system during the summer cannot keep up with the heat in here, even after I did that. Moving around to the back, this charge port, NAC, it's not the Tesla, it's the other one, the original one. That's perfectly fine. I don't know why people care about that so much. A simple adapter will fix anything. Opening it up here in the back, like I said, it's huge with the seats down. It does have power up and power down for these, but as you can see, that's what actually happens. If you have the middle seats in the furthest back position, the headrests hit and they can't go up or down all the way. So that's just stupid. Why bother putting motors and buttons and doing all this stuff when really, like, I can't get them up and down anyway. Let's see if I think I would. Yeah, I'm gonna actually have to. I guess I have to put that back down the rest of the way. Go back up here. No power on the seat. Hit that. Slide that forward. Now come back here. Now hit my button. Oh, hit the wrong button. Oh, that one's gonna manage to drag all the way up. Wonderful. This is so much more of a pain in the ass than it's worth. Like, this is overcomplicated. If you're not gonna get it right, don't overcomplicate it. Now the back storage is still pretty good, but there's not a lot of I don't think many vehicles have good access to get in the back. But pull that, and then that's your back seat. It's too small. It's too small for a full-size adult. That's all you really need to know. I can't sit back there. I wouldn't suggest having somebody sit back there. It's not comfortable. The seat, now that's too far up. All right, so I think that's about it for the exterior. I'm going to jump in here, and we're going to go for a little bit of a drive. Let's get it all closed up. So get in, put your foot on the brake, and now what you'll see is it launches. It's what they call a 55-inch display. That sounds great in theory, but it's not squared. This is the smallest 50, because it's only, 6 inches tall. It's not actually all that big. The center here got some good information on it. That's cool. The center display is where everything's at. This passenger display, completely useless. I think my wife turned it on once just to look at it, but it does like YouTube or stuff if you wanted to. No one's ever going to use it. I think you're actually really rude if you were to sit over there and watch videos and you were in the passenger seat. It's just a gimmick. So really the screen ends here. So you kind of have your normal two screens. What I don't like is they advertise it as 55 inches. 55 inches, my ass. Like, you go and put it in reverse. This is your reverse camera that you get. And what is that? I don't know. Maybe 6 inches diagonal? That's puny. The camera won't do a great job of getting it. But don't say that you have a 55-inch screen in here and then give us a 6-inch reverse. That's just no good. Rear view mirror screen, love that. That's a nice touch. I'm a big fan of that. We then have this other little screen down here that has all of your controls. I do actually like this. This is nice because it will allow you to kind of keep this up at all times, regardless of, let's say you have your navigation here up on the main screen. You can then still control your AC while leaving your navigation up. A little redundant because then you can even, over on this main screen, I guess you can put your navigation here too. So you really don't need the same navigation screens. Kind of cool though. Use the screens. I like that. There's just not enough options because there's the map option here. There is driver assist option, which is literally nothing, doesn't show anything at all. Completely worthless. And the gauges, there's not that much gauges to show. I like that it gives a kilowatt reading of what the power that you're drawing. That's kind of cool. Gives you your current state of charge and the estimated mileage. Mileage is unbelievable on this thing. You can go 450 miles easy, 460. I think out of spec said you can get like 500. I drive fast. It is a big block, so therefore I don't get great mileage. Looks like actually it says here averaging 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour average. But on the highway I get much worse than that because I drive fast. It does drive nice. Has rear wheel steering, which is really super cool. I'll either start the video or end the video with some of the nonsense with the arrival mode. Arrival mode is a gimmick, but it is kind of cool. What it does, like this little picture shows here, is that the rear wheel steering goes the same direction. It's useless, but it'll make you laugh when you drive like that. Here's a little tiny icon saying that that's on, but normally you keep it on rear wheel steering, and rear wheel steering is amazing. This has, I think, 7 degrees of rear wheel steer, whereas the Hummer that it shares the platform with had, I think, 11. So it's not as drastic as that, but for something as long as this, it actually does. I can turn it around in my driveway really easy. Oh, so I have normal, I think, 8-foot wide garage doors, and I have to fold my mirrors in every time in order to get in and out of it. It is so tight. If you have this size garage doors, 8-foot garage doors, do not get this vehicle. It is not worth. It's not worth it. I can't stress enough, that is not a big enough garage door for this vehicle. You'll hit your car, or you will end up parking outside. Let's go ahead and see if I can flip this around, and let's actually go for a little bit of a drive here. All right, so we are actually in the 2025 Escalade IQ driving now. I'm actually just reversing out of my driveway, just to be driving it, see if it reminds me of anything. One thing is that this vehicle, it is grossly underpowered in my opinion. For the $100,000 and up electric vehicle market, this is, I think, I'm pretty sure this is probably the absolute slowest $100,000 EV that you can buy. It does have something like I think it's 700 horsepower in VMAX mode, as they call it, which is a bit of a gripe of mine, because why do I have to push a button to get all the power? That's what the throttle is for. If I push the throttle all the way down, give me all the power. If I don't want all the power, that's perfectly fine. I won't push the pedal all the way down. But instead, every time that I get in the vehicle, I have to hit the V mode button. I just hit that. That way you get all of the power. When we're on the subject of power regulation, this doesn't drive like an EV. When you floor it, instead of giving you instant acceleration, instant full torque, and that's what everybody loves about EV. That's what's really cool. That's what's fun when you get in a Tesla Plaid, or you get in a Rivian quad motor and you stomp it and it just peels your face off with acceleration. This doesn't do that. This, you stomp on it and it lumbers. It starts to give you a little bit of power. Even the power gauge will read it that it is just crawling up in kilowatts. So it doesn't just slam you into the back of the seat like EVs should and can. Instead, it almost revs up. And then it does pull some. It's all right. I ran a draggy on it, and it will run about a 13-second quarter mile, which is pretty respectable, especially because the size. Just I have the opportunity here, so I'm going to do a little pull here. So I'm flooring it right now, and it's not taking my breath away. I'm still talking to you guys, and okay, cool. There's 60, 70. I'm not impressed. It doesn't do anything special when it comes to performance, which is really a disappointment, because the Hummer does. They made a tri-motor Hummer. I don't know whose idea it was over at GM when they were like, all right, let's make the Cadillac Escalade the biggest, the baddest, the best, the most luxurious. And yeah, let's take the base model 2X powertrain out of the far less expensive Hummer, the lighter Hummer, and put that in. That'll be enough. Nobody wants a lot of power in their Cadillac Escalade. So yeah, they put the 2 motor in, which makes another problem. Because they put 1 motor in the front and 1 motor in the back, it does not have a rear bias power like a good car should. Anybody that's natural vehicle enthusiast, performance enthusiast, you want your power in the rear. You do not want to be pulled by the front wheels. Why? Because the front wheels, as the weight shifts to the back when you accelerate, it's going to lift those wheels not off the ground, but they're going to have less contact. So therefore you can't put the power down. Also, those are your steering wheels. So therefore you get what's called torque steer. The torque steer on this is absolutely terrible. It's terrifying. It is just the worst I've ever felt on a all-wheel drive vehicle. When you give it full throttle, be prepared. Hopefully you have the steering wheel turned straight. But even if you do, be prepared for this thing to dart all over the place. It's going to jump into the lane next to you. It's going to and it's just very, this is by far the slowest vehicle that I've owned in a while, and it is also the most dangerous to go full throttle in. It's absurd. It's not even fast. It's just still hard to control. It just wants to do whatever it wants to do. That could also be partially because of the rear wheel steering. Sometimes when you do have rear wheel steer, that can, and you send a lot of power to the rear, that can also kind of influence a little bit of torque steer from the back. Enough on the performance. I don't think a lot of people are buying this for the performance. Maybe they'll make a V version of it, but yeah, we're probably not buying this for performance. It is an SUV, so if you're buying it to do sports activities, it's probably not the best for that either. It does, you can't off-road in this. It doesn't have lockers. It doesn't have true four-wheel drive. It is, essentially two-wheel drive because there's no locking mechanism between the front and the back or on the axles. Doesn't have great ground clearance. It's absurdly heavy. It's 9,000 pounds, so it's really not doing sport either. What this really is, it's a city bus. It can carry a lot of people. It can, it looks nice. So yeah, this is the right vehicle. Oh, there it is. Just kind of swerved all over the place when I got on it again. So it's a great vehicle if you want to impress your neighbors and your friends with how much you can spend on a vehicle. But if they're car enthusiasts, it's nothing special. It just doesn't feel special. And for $140,000, I think that it should. GM, I've contacted GM about some of the issues that I've had with it and just my general disappointment. And I'm actually trying to do a dealer repurchase of the vehicle right now. I want out of this. I want another Rivian. I have had a very bad experience. The truck's been back into the dealership 3 times. It just seems like it's just, the vehicle's stupid. They're trying to make a smart, intelligent vehicle like Tesla or Lucid or Rivian, and it's not. They took CarPlay out of it, but their native apps aren't good. For example, Rivian and Tesla, they don't let you use CarPlay either, but their apps are great. They're fantastic. They work how they're supposed to. They're intuitive. This thing, I can open up Spotify on the screen. It's a native app, but you can't search for music. You can't find things. You can't even scroll through your own playlist. It lets you scroll through like 10 songs and then says scrolling is limited while driving. The AC is not too good. What else we got here? Pretty good ride. The noise cancellation, as you can see, there's little speakers in the headphones, or speakers in the headrests. I don't think they actually work. I don't think they do anything. It's actually unnoticeable, even if you try and like discern something from that by trying to listen to them or like drive faster or anything. You can't notice it. And there's no, I feel like if they were actually doing anything, there probably would be a setting somewhere to turn it on or off, and there's not. So I think the noise canceling is just a gimmick, but it is a pretty quiet ride in here. Truck does ride really, really nice at speed, especially considering it has the 24-inch rims on it. The stereo is bad. It's just bad. It's the, now this is the Sport 1. The Sport 2 gets a even more premium AKG stereo system. I think this one has 19 speakers. That one has an absurd number. And that goes up even more if you put the executive package in the rear. But anyway, the Sport 1, the stereo in here is bad. It just, no matter what setting I put it to, it just has like not punchy good bass, but just that overwhelming kind of droning-ish hum of the bass. And it just, I don't know, maybe it's because the subwoofer is 20 feet away from me all the way in the back, but in my opinion, it just sounds bad. If I turn the bass way, way up, certain songs that have heavy bass tracks will sound pretty good, but the doors rattle, and it just generally does not sound good. So that's my take on the stereo. The AC system is lax. It won't keep up on a hot day, and I'm up in New Jersey, and during the summer I have limo tint 5% all the way around the outside windows. Like I said, ceramic tint to kind of help limit the UV heat that comes through. I also did 35% on the windshield, which is illegal, and I did the 40 on the sunroof, and it still just absolutely cooks in here. On that note, when there's a mobile app, if you've had a Rivian, if you've had a Tesla, you're used to being able to control your vehicle from your phone. Yeah, they sold it. They're like, there's a mobile app. The mobile app is absolute trash. It does not work. It doesn't sync with the vehicle. It doesn't give you up-to-date information. If you hit to turn the AC on before from the phone, it will work 50% of the time at best, and then it also it will completely fail 50% of the time, but also it just doesn't seem to give you accurate information. It might tell you that it's on when it's not. It'll tell you it's off when it's on. It'll tell you that your vehicle's charging when you're just parked in the middle of a parking garage or something. So again, overall, just not a fan. This is such a disappointment. I think Cadillac's going to have a handful of complaints with this, and if you like this vehicle, I feel like the Hummer EV is just a better deal all day long. This just doesn't really do anything. There's nothing that it does really, really well, other than pretentiousness, which this is coming from someone that bought it. I paid for this out of my own pocket. I thought it was my dream car. I didn't know where to go from a Rivian. I was like, all right, I was blessed. Things have gone well for me in my career, to where after giving my Gen 1 quad Rivian, I was like, okay, I can step up. What is a step up from a Rivian if I want to continue with an EV? And I thought that was this. I don't like it. That's all there is to it. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling. If you've stuck through this long, I appreciate it. Hit like if you like the video. Anyway, thanks a lot. Everybody have a good day. Make any comments if you have any questions.